Good morning, Derby people. If you are woken up at that time on the Sunday morning on the weekend, that means you are Derby fans, and that also means that you may be fans of one of the two teams here, either Marseille or Rayo Dockers, competing for the final for the 9th place. Marseille lost against Iguanas yesterday morning, and Rayo Dockers lost against Milano yesterday morning to the access to the winning bracket. That's why both teams are competing this morning at 9 o'clock, that means in 2 minutes, for the final of the 9th place of this Daga Denter tournament. It's going to be the day of finals today, right? And let's start with the roster from Marseille, with number 7 Malice, number 11 Ballerink, number 04 Viking, number 26 Boobies, number 83 Sushi, number 32 Donowich, number 42 Oudala, number 51 Mempamal, number 222 Trublion, number 992 Ruby Rod, number 14 Kim Jong-el, and number 13 Rebecca. And for the Rayo Dockers, number 10 Kinky, number 11 Tormenta, number 12 Killer Queen, number 33 Terremoto, number 44 Spinelli, number 5 Holy Shit, number 56 Prima de Riesgo, number 691 Gitana Galguera, number 8 Banana Kamikaze, number 88 Marchaka Flacas. And that's all for Rayo Dockers. The players seem to be ready here. Rayo is going to play in black and Marseille is going to play in blue. Ladies and gentlemen, Derby people, it's time for roller derby. Stay tuned. We are Sunday morning. We are a bit late, not even late. The game is about to start in less than 1 minute. Remember, this is the final for the 9th place of this Daga Denter tournament. Whoever wins that game is going to end up number 9 out of 10 of this Daga Denter tournament. I'm Shut the Fred Up from Paris, and the game is about to start very, very, very soon. Stay tuned, Derby people. We are running a bit late here. It's Sunday morning. It's raining heavily outside, so everyone maybe came up a bit late. He's not as reactive as everyone is usually. Let me tell you about the schedule of the day. If you want to watch the whole day of Daga Denter tournament, we have at 9 o'clock then the game between Marseille and Rayo Dockers for the final of the 9th place. Then at 9:30 on track 2 we have the final for the 7th place between Lutèce. Not between Lutèce. We have the access to the final of the 7th place between RP Milano and Vicenza Arguanas. It's going to be a derby of Italy. And then on Sunday at 11, we on track 1 we will have the first semi-final of the day between Vienna and Barcelona. Then on track 2 at 11:30 we're going to have the second semi-final of the day between Helsinki C Cassettes and Zurich. Then at 1 p.m. we will have the final for the 7th place between Lutèce and either Harpies and Anguanas. Then on Sunday on track 2 at 1:30 we will have the final for the 5th place between the Roller Derby Panthers Grau and the winner between Harpi Milano and Vicenza. And then on Sunday today on track 1 at 3:15 we have the final of the 3rd place, and then on track 1 the great final at 5:30. We're running a bit late here, but I would say that the crowd is quite numerous this morning in the stand. I'm quite impressed. We have more than 10 people. I wouldn't expect that. And you see it on the clock. The game is about to start in less than 40 seconds. It will be the end of my talking for me, trying to fill up the silence on this. And now 20 seconds before the start of the game. And the game is about to start now. The clock ran down to 0. Everything seems to be ready on it. Can we stop the music during the game? And the whistle goes. And the whistle goes, and the game is about to start for the final of the 9th place. It's going to be number 42 Ulala for Marseille and number 10 Kinky for Rayo Dockers. Here we are. And Ulala is taking the first lead of the game quite rapidly. The first lead of the game is taken by Ulala. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Ulala entering her scoring trip right now. Trying to fill the tiny little gap here. Marseille is having control of it, but look at this. We have Kinky entering her scoring trip. Ulala saw it. She passed the pack once and decided to call off that jam, adding the first 5 points in the pocket for Marseille. Marseille is leading 5-0. It's going to be number 11 Ballerink for Marseille and number 56 Prima de Riesgo for Rayo. Here we are. Ballerink is taking the second lead of the game. 2 leads in a row for Marseille. Ballerink entering her scoring trip and now calling that jam off. But she couldn't call that jam off because she was awarded a cutting the track just right before, so she lost the benefit of her lead jammer position. But look at that, we have Prima de Riesgo also going to the penalty box. The second jam of the game is going to last 2 minutes. And Ballerink is back on the track. Oh, good assist by number 14, Rebecca. And Ballerink is spinning around and out to score another 5 for Marseille. Prima de Riesgo is out as well. It's going to be basically a simple race between the 2 jammers here. Ballerink lost the benefits of a lead jammer position. She was gotten out of the pack right now. She's still trying to provoke chaos in the pack. Is still going. Rayo Dockers has already. Rayo Dockers has scored 5 points here, and Marseille is adding another 3, another 4 for Rayo Dockers. But in the very last seconds of the jam, Barink was once again sent to the penalty box. So it's going to be another power jam for Rayo Dockers. 8 points scored for Marseille, 9 points scored for Dockers. Here we are in a power jam for Dockers. It's going to be Killer Queen jamming on that jam number 3. The main objective for Killer Queen is to take the lead before Barink comes back on the track. The main objective for the blockers from Marseille is to contain Killer Queens, buying the precious seconds so that Barink could apply to the lead jammer position. But look at what's happening. We have Killer Queen that is sent to the penalty box for a cutting. It's therefore a power jam for Marseille here. Barink is back on the track. The lead jammer position is still open for her. And Barink is skating away through only 3 blockers in front of her right now, but the 3 blockers are quite good defending in the tripod here. No one is lead jammer. Killer Queen is in the penalty box. She cannot be lead jammer, but Barink can. And look at that, we have more than 1 minute of gameplay and no one is lead jammer. Good job by the blockers from Rayo Dockers. Oh, we'll have another jam with 2 minutes since Barink removed the helmet cover, so no one can pretend to the lead jammer position anymore. And Killer Queen is back, and it's going to be another race on that jam number 3. Oh, good job by Killer Queen, even if she was out of the track by the blockers from Marseille. She's still competing here. Oh, we had a helmet cover. It's not Barink anymore who has the helmet cover. It's number 13, Rebecca. Rebecca is now jamming for Marseille, and Killer Queen is out. Scoring another 4 for Rayo Dockers. And Rebecca has scored 4 points as well, so it's going to be a tie on that jam for all. Marseille 17, Rayo Dockers 13. Official timeouts. The game is really close. Remember, people, this is the final for the 9th place of the tournament of the Daga DDT, Daga Denter in Milan here. The first official timeout of the game. For the moment, it was quite a crazy game. We had 3 jams only, and on those 3 jams, 2 jams went to the natural end with 2 minutes, as either lead jammer went to the penalty box, so they lost the benefits of their lead jamming position. It's going to be Sushi here, who's going to jam for Marseille. And number 10, Kinky, for Rayo Dockers. If you want to send your message and support to the players and you want to hear it on stream, please use the hashtag DDT2017 on Twitter, obviously, or Daga Denter 2017 on Twitter as well. And it will be a pleasure for me to read all your comments and shootouts on the game. So it's going to be Sushi for Marseille and Kinky for Dockers. 17 for Marseille, 13 for Dockers. Jam number 4 upcoming. 23 minutes and 59 seconds to go, so approximately 24 minutes. Then 6 minutes have already passed and only 3 jams were going on. So that means that, as I told you, the jams were quite long. Jam number 2, jam number 3 went to the full 2 minutes. Okay, jam number 4 is about to start in less than 5 seconds right now. Sushi versus Kinky. And Kinky is taking the first lead jammer position of the game for Rayo Dockers. They had to wait until jam number 4 to take the first lead jamming position. And now Kinky has already entered the scoring trip, getting on the outside, dodging a bit, accelerating, passing, and cutting that jam off. Very, very good job on that jam number 4 by number 10, Kinky. 4 more points by Kinky. It's now a tie, 7 in all, just before that jam number 5. Oulala is back for Marseille. And number 5-6, Prima de Riesgo, is back also for Rayo Dockers. Here we go. And we have a lead jammer position here with Oulala, the number 42 for Marseille. Oulala is approaching the pack once again. Oh, good hit by the shoulders from Oulala, fixing the holes here for the blockers and forcing Oulala to call off that jam after having scored 3 more points for Marseille. It's going to be 20 for Marseille, 17 for Rayo. Jam number 6 going on. The battle of the 11. Tormenta for Rayo Dockers versus Ballerink for Marseille. Whose 11 is going to win? 1 blocker down for Marseille in the penalty box. And Tormenta is taking the lead, the second lead jammer position of the game for Rayo Dockers. Tormenta in her scoring trip. Oh, the gap has opened on the inside, but fortunately, number 5-1 Mempamal closed the door for Tormenta, and Tormenta is having a hard time trying to pass the blockers from Marseille. Tormenta tried to stick the pack on the outside, but it doesn't work, but here it works for Tormenta out of the pack, and 5 more points in the pocket for Rayo Dockers. And for the first time of the game, Rayo Dockers are leading at the scoreboard. Now it's 22 for Rayo Dockers and 20 for Marseille. Once again, second scoring trip for Tormenta. 5 more points and Tormenta is calling that jam off. It's a 10-point jam for Rayo Dockers, now leading 28-20. 27-20, sorry. No points scored for Marseille. It's going to be a fierce battle for the 9th place of this Daga Denter tournament. Number 10 upcoming for Rayo Dockers. It's a power jam since Ballerink has been sent to the penalty box once again. I believe this is her 3rd penalty of the game so far. And it's another lead jammer position for Rayo Dockers with Kinky controlling that jam number 7. Ballerink is out, back on the track. She needs to complete her initial trip first to pretend to the points. But look at the good work from the blockers from Rayo Dockers. For the moment containing Ballerink. And this is it for number 10, Kinky. Getting on the inside to score another 4, and she saw Barry coming over her and decides to call off that jam. Good job for the Rayo Docker players on the last 2 jams. It's now 5 more points, 32 for Dockers, still 20 for Marseille. Prima de Riesgo for Dockers versus Sushi for Marseille on that upcoming jam number 8. Oh, very strong defending from Rayo Dockers. Sushi is having a hard time getting a lead jammer position, but this is it for Sushi. Giving a bit of fresh air to Marseille. Marseille hadn't taken the lead jammer position on 2 jams before Sushi on that jam number 8. And Sushi on the inside and calling that jam off. 4 more points scored for Marseille. No points scored for Dockers. Marseille 24, Dockers 32. Killer Queen is back on the track for Rayo Dockers versus Ulala for Marseille. Here we go. No one is in the penalty box. Ulala, this talented jammer, is taking the head for the moment, but no lead jammer position. Good job by number 1-3. Rebecca from Marseille, and Ulala is lead jammer here for the 2nd time in a row for Marseille. Very good defending by Machaca Flacas from the Rayo Dockers on the Ulala. Once again giving her a hard time, but she crushed it back with the shoulders and got on the outside to score another 5 points. 5 more points for Marseille, getting back 3 points behind Rayo Dockers now. Ulala is very good at trying to find the little holes, but here she is being recycled and trying to change herself as a blocker on Killer Queen and call that jam off. Very good job by Ulala here. 6 points for Marseille, 2 points behind Rayo Dockers. Rayo Dockers haven't scored on the last 2 jams. Sushi for Marseille and Kinky for Rayo Dockers. Upcoming jam number 10. This is it. Sushi is up front, but I am impressed with the defending from Rayo Dockers here. They seem firm and solid, and Sushi is really having a hard time trying to pass. It's quite the same thing for Marseille as well. Kinky is right behind, and this is Sushi taking the lead for Marseille. The 3rd. No, not taking the lead. Sorry, people, it's Sunday morning. It's not a lead jammer position. She was sent to the penalty box. It's a power jam for Rayo Dockers, and the lead jammer position is still open for Kinky. I haven't seen the penalty committed by Sushi. One minute of gameplay and no one is lead jammer, and as soon as I say that, we have Kinky taking the lead jammer position for Rayo Dockers. And Sushi is back. She has entered her scoring trip right now, but Kinky is a bit up front, passing the hips, getting on the inside and calling that jam off. Very good job by Rayo Dockers. 4 more points for Rayo, and Valencia is now 36 for Rayo and 29 and not 30. It was on 6 points on the previous jam, but 5 points. 29 for Marseille. It's an official timeout. Next jam is going to be Ulala for Marseille and Prima de Riesgo for Rayo Dockers. Let's have a look at hashtag DDT 2017 on Twitter or Daga Denter 2017 to see whether We have fans. We have Jones, but Jones is watching the game on track number 2. Let's check on hashtag Daga Denter 2017 to see whether we have fans once again. So please, Derby people, if you want to send your love and messages on Twitter, use the hashtag DDT2017. For the moment, we have only Jones only watching track 2. Is there anyone watching track 1, Marseille versus Rayo Dockers? If yes, please send your message on DDT2017. Look at the penalty box, which is quite full. 2 blockers for Rayo and 1 pivot from Marseille. Rebecca has just been authorized to come back on the track for Marseille. So now Marseille are 3 blockers and only 2 blockers for Rayo. So maybe Ulala is going to try to take an early lead jammer position as Rayo is 1 blocker down. Still 29-36. Jam 11 is about to start. Prima de Riesgo versus Ulala. And here we are for jam number 11. Oh, Ulala spinning around on the inside and taking an early lead jammer position. Very good job by Ulala, entering a scoring trip. Ulala is looking at the penalty box to check whether the blocker and the pivot is out. She's not, so she has to do it on her own. Good job by the blockers from Rayo, even if one is sent to the penalty box here. So only 1 block, and Ulala on the inside, having an easy pass just before turn 4 to score another 5 for Marseille. Marseille is getting back at Rayo, 2 points behind. Oh, good job once again by Ulala, sticking the pack on the inside and creating the gap on the outside, spinning around it, adding another 2 points. And you have it on the scoreboard. It's a tie now. Marseille equalizes, 36 for Marseille, 36 for Rayo Dockers. It's not thunder, it's the team training and shouting on track 2 that you can hear on the microphone. Here we go, number 10 for Rayo, Kinky is taking the lead. And it's number 83, Sushi, for Marseille. But now lead jammer for Kinky and Rayo Dockers. We have an almost full penalty box here. But good job for the 2 blockers for Marseille, forcing Kinky to call off that jam as Sushi was coming over. No points scored by Marseille, obviously. Do we have points scored for Rayo? Seems not. Seems not. Seems to be a tie again. 36 all. Official timeout. No, points were scored by Rayo. 2 more points for Rayo. It's now 38 for Rayo, 36 for Marseille still. The jams are very long on that first period, since we are approaching jam number 13 and we have 12 minutes left on that first half. That means that the jams were very long, and it's certainly a strategy for the teams here to try to tire the teams, even if it's early morning. It's going to be Ulala for Marseille and Prima de Riesgo for Rayo. Surely maybe one of the most exciting jammer duel of that game between Ulala and Prima de Riesgo. 2 blockers down for Rayo here in the penalty box. 1 blocker down, but stand up, so almost on the track for Marseille. Surely it might have some consequences on the upcoming jam number 13. So on track number 2 is going to be the Italian derby between Vicenza and Milano, starting in 1 minute. But let's get back to track number 1 with the final for the 9th place between Marseille and Rayo Dockers. Very close here, 2-point difference. And upcoming jam number 13 between Ulala and Primo de Riesgo. And this is it. The pack is composed of 3 blockers for Marseille, 2 blockers for Rayo. And Ulala shoulders her way through the pack and takes the lead jammer position for Marseille. Ulala is going to approach the pack here. Oh, she took the blockers by surprise and took on the inside to take another 4 for the Blues. And calling that jam off. Is it enough for Rayo not to score points? Yes, apparently 4 more points for Marseille, taking the lead once again. And now Marseille is leading by 2 points, 40 for Marseille, 38 for Rayo still. And here we are for jam number 14. It's number 10, Kinky, versus number 83, Sushi. Sushi is taking the lead for Marseille for the 2nd time in a row for the Blues. Lead jammer for Marseille. Kinky is out, trying to get back at Sushi, but Sushi saw the gap on the inside, accelerating, passes through, and calling that jam off. Good job by Sushi, 4 more points. Really, Rayo will have to fix this. We see too many players in the penalty box for Rayo. On the previous jam, it was 2 blockers down. So really, it was easier for Sushi to pass and to score points. 4 more points for Marseille. Marseille 44, Rayo Dockers 38. Rayo hasn't scored on the last 2 jams. And it's a timeout asked by Rayo here, surely to try to establish strategies to commit less penalties here, because as I told you, Derby people, it was Vienna cheering behind. As I told you, Derby people, on the last 3 jams, we had many jammers from, many blockers, sorry, from Rayo in the penalty box. And on the last 2 jams, Marseille took the lead twice because Rayo had blockers down. So Rayo, if they still want to compete, need to commit less penalties. Kinky versus Ulala on that upcoming jam number 15. 2 jams in a row for Kinky. And here we are back to the game. No, Kinky is just talking strategies with her 2 blockers, but she is really going to be the jammer here on that upcoming jam number 15. 3 blockers from Marseille, 2 blockers from Rayo. Is it going to be an easy and early lead jammer position for Ulala? Let's see that in less than 5 seconds. And here we go for that jam number 15. Oh, you see Kinky transforming herself into a blocker to try to contain Ulala, but it's not enough for Ulala, the number 42, not to take the lead. Ulala is lead jammer on that jam number 15. Now entering a scoring trip. Ulala taking on the outside, accelerating, once again dodging, and scoring another 5 for Marseille. Ulala in a second scoring trip now. Oh, the impact for Ulala here. Turning around the pack, passing the hips and calling that jam off once again. This is a very good job by number 42, Ulala. 4 more points. 9 points overall on that jam. Marseille is 53. Dockers are still 38. And Dockers haven't scored on the last 3 jams. Look at that here. Tables turn. 2 blockers this time for Marseille in the penalty box. Only 1 for Rayo in the penalty box. Sushi for Marseille. Prima de Riesgo for Dockers. Is it going to be easier for Prima de Riesgo as you have less blockers from Marseille? And this is exactly what's happening. Prima de Riesgo takes the lead for Rayo after 3 last jams where Rayo didn't have the lead. And it's a blocking out of bounds for Sushi, sent to the penalty box. It's a power jam for Marseille, for Rayo. Oh, getting a bit of fresh air for Rayo. And we have Prima de Riesgo trying to get on the insides, but she went to the floor, so she was forced to call off that jam, and she allows the next lineup to start in a power start position. Very good job by Prima de Riesgo, adding 10 points in the pocket for Rayo. Rayo is now 48. Marseille still 53. But this is going to be a power start for Rayo. With number 12, Killer Queen. But look at that, you have 4 blockers for Marseille. Good assist here by Banana Kamikaze. The lead jammer position is still open, and no more. We have Killer Queen, lead jammer here. Rebecca couldn't get her out because she was out of play. Killer Queen is lead jammer on that jam number 17. And Sushi is back again to the penalty box. It's another power jam for Rayo. Oh, tables turn for the team for Valencia. Killer Queen remains on the track. Not here. Rebecca managed to get her out. But Killer Queen insists, gets on the outside, accelerates, and passes the pack once again and immediately calls that off. Very good job by Killer Queen. And look at the scoreboards. It's going to be official in a minute. It is official. It's a tie. Once again, 5 more points. 53 for Marseille, 53 for Rayo. And here we are, another power start with Kinky, this time for Rayo. Her objective is to take the lead, and this is exactly what she does. Lead jammer position for Kinky. Sushi is back on the track. Let's hope for Marseille that she's not going to get back to the penalty box seconds after that. Kinky is controlling that jam number 18. Oh, it's a cutting for Kinky. Sent to the penalty box. It's going to be a full 2-minute jam. Just running time for Marseille and Sushi maybe to make the most of it. But look at the blockers from Rayo giving a very good job. Once again, number 88, Machaca Flacas, is recycling and resetting Sushi here. This is it for Marseille. 5 more points. getting the lead once again. Marseille is 58-53 for Rayo Dockers. Kinky is back. The 30 seconds have passed, but look at the tripod from Marseille. Really giving a hard time to Kinky, who lost the lead jammer position benefits, so the jam is going to last 2 minutes full. "30 seconds left on that jam. Marseille leads, but only by 5 points. And Kiki is passing the pack. She was sent to the penalty box in her scoring trip, so that's why she immediately scores 5 more points here. Sushi removed the helmet cover and passed it to number 26, Boobies. And this is the end of the jam. 9 points for Marseille, 9 points for Rayo. It's a 62-all. Ladies and gentlemen, derby people, this is going to be a heartbreaking game. Set up your pacemaker because no one can predict the issue of that game so far. 5 minutes before the end of the first half. Prima de riesgo for Rayo versus Ballerink for Marseille. Quite funny because Ballerink hasn't jammed since jam number 7, since 12 jams. Solely to cool that head up because she went to the penalty box twice. Maybe that's what's going to happen to Sushi just right after that. But Ballerink is back and no lead jammer position still. And when I say this, we have Prima de Riesgo taking the lead for Rayo. And Rayo has taken the lead on the 4 last jams. And Ballerink is out now. And this is it for Rayo Dockers, calling that jam off. Yeah, but it's really annoying for the... For jam number 20 with Oulala here. Number 60, still 62 for Marseille, 66 for Rayo Dockers. But we have another lead jammer position for Rayo Dockers, and it's number 11, Tormenta, taking the lead for the 5th time in a row for Rayo Dockers, immediately calling that jam off. And 3 more points for Rayo Dockers, now leading 69 for Rayo, 62 for Marseille. Marseille hasn't scored on the last 2 jams. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. And now it's Kinky for Rayo versus Sushi, number 83. And Sushi is taking the lead, giving a bit of fresh air to Marseille because Rayo had the lead jammer position on the last 5 jams. And this is it for Sushi, passing, getting 5 more points for Marseille, allowing Marseille to get back 2 points behind Rayo Dockers now. And the jammer from Rayo, Kinky, has removed the helmet cover. And Sushi saw it, so that's why she decided to call off that jam. 6 points on the last jam for Marseille. Marseille is 68, Rayo is 69. It's likely to be the last jam of the first half. Prima de riesgo for Rayo versus Ulala for Marseille. Only 1 point difference between the two teams just right before the first half. Ulala, oh, beautiful jump. And Ulala is lead jammer. But she remains in the pack. And she saw that Prima de Riesgo was out, so that's why she calls that jam off. We will have one last jam on that first half. No points were scored on that jam number 22. And it's going to be Killer Queen jamming on that upcoming jam number 23 for Rayo versus Sushi for Marseille. And this time it is likely to be the last jam of the game, of the first half, sorry. Good assist, and it allows the jammer from Rayo, Killer Queen, to take the lead on that last jam of the first half. This is official now. The clock run down to 0. Good blocking by Marseille. And Corta, we could hear, and she cuts off that jam. Has she scored points? Yes, 2 more points. So it's 71 for Rayo, 68 for Marseille at halftime. It's going to be a very, very tight game, and let's have a break and see each other once again in less than 15 minutes.